Right around the track here, out of the gate and off the first section. Coming down through turn number 1 and 2. It is an early advantage there of Tyler Dalton. Then to 3 and 4, Roethlisberger getting a little bit of extra speed kick back up. Field working their way down to the traffic and through the spacks already. This is going to be a bit of a tricky one, guys, because this is not the new Texas Speedway. This is old Texas. This is the old hard track surface to figure out. This is the Warren Tour, different bankings than what it is from 3 and 4. They widened out turn 1 and 2 originally and then made 3 and 4 a little bit steeper. Well, this isn't that. They made it, it's a little bit of a change up and a lot harder to control. The driver's well aware of that, and right now they're just trying to stay relatively in the neutral corner, not trying to get themselves into too much trouble early. Easier said than done, I know, but that's kind of how it's going to play out. Lap 35 going to be our stage break here. As the field continues to move their way through the chains. Wesley Donaldson seeing a good opportunity here as Dayton Taylor in the 45 makes a little bit of a mistake there, giving the old 15 of Joe Hudson and Charles Van Schaik with the 23 a little bit of a run to move with. Donaldson right up there with him, couldn't quite get the speed kick up though and match around. Easier said than done here. You know, you can't really give up too many angles or too many opportunities, and it becomes a lot more difficult to pass as it goes along. Also on the YouTube end, I know the recording will probably look a little off considering it literally started on lap number 1. I do apologize in advance, but just if you haven't already missed it, we had a little malfunction on the stream, pushed the wrong button as we were pulling the keyboard back in for our sake. And unfortunately, just kind of hit the wrong button, if you will. So I don't know why they put a power button for the PC on the keyboard. I know it's probably more convenient, but it's less convenient when you actually can push the darn thing and you're trying to work on projects. So our bad there, guys. Little onboard shot here from Kramer, now an onboard here from Holyfield. Holyfield already got a win in this season at one Motor Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, but still searching to try to take home another one to his name and add to the list. I don't know how well Texas will favor for him though, considering how difficult and tricky it will be. Zach Roethlisberger in the 4 and the Mobile 1 machine, and Tyler Dalton in the 7500 camp right now, leading out the charge pretty well. It's Roethlisberger tries to get some speed going and get some momentum kicking up his route. You're on board, Cameron Dario, winner this season already. Looking to try to pull with another one here, but again, very tough to do with this level of competition. Very tough and significant to be able to pull off, especially considering how hard it is to make some good runs and some good passes. As you see the bottom lane getting a little bit tricky down there. Donaldson in the 99, if you will, right now. It's just kind of moving his way to the chains here. He's having a little bit of a run there with Cameron Dario. Originally had to deal with the other Monster Energy driver and the Beast, if you will, from the 45 of Dayton Taylor, but no longer near than that. He's currently doing Dario. Side-by-side battle as well behind him. Al the Wild Man Wild in the 22, trying to command and present himself to the 12 of Jackson. But Aaron Jackson got his headphones in, blaring the music and blaring that mouth out from the 22 of Wild. Doesn't seem to be fazed by him. Field patrolling their way down through every corner, every little turn, subsection. This huge crowd on hand here today. Came here for a show, came here for a good watch. They're getting it right now. So far, very interesting little strategies from some drivers and very interesting timing on others. Nobody seems to be trying to push the absolute limits of the bottom lane though. Seem to be a little bit more mindful and collected on how they want to navigate and diverse each turn rather than trying to push themselves off the ground and off the limits here. Dario giving a run there to Donaldson, and Donaldson finally getting one right on him. Jackson going to capitalize on that mistake as well. And the WBD Diecast 99 casting his shadow amongst the whole field in the middle of the pack while the Everett's trying to hang in there. You notice how each turn, each corner, they just need to get a little bit more creeping up towards the top end. Again, that has a lot to do with just how the car reacts and how the car breaks down. The harder you drive it, the tougher it becomes. And then the longer it goes, the more troublesome you find yourself in. This track is all about maneuvering, control, and staying focused on your strategy. Tire and fuel strategy is very critical here. In my opinion, they are the biggest criteria to winning in this race. As Roethlisberger right now deals with the 23, the Roush man himself, Charles Van Schaik, trying to rush his way ahead of the Mobile 1, number 4. Roethlisberger trying to defend him. Van Schaik, though, he's looking pretty clear, pretty competitive here early on. I'm liking what I'm seeing here and looking like he's going to be focusing highly on finding that line, finding that opening. As we see his onboard camera, you can just see how each corner he's just keeping the car as straight as he can without trying to turn the wheel in as much as possible, really allowing him to kind of maneuver through when some guards or other drivers just can't. Of course, you know, if one driver's doing it, you know someone else is, and I'm betting you $5 Tyler Dalton right now doing the exact same thing that Roethlisberger and Schaik are doing. His only advantage is he got it ahead of everybody out the start. Meanwhile, those kind of just laying back in the track here, maybe doing a little bit more than we realize. It could be laying low for the moment, looking to strategize and beat out above all else. Time for a little Budweiser action as the number 8 of Maurice Burnett drinking it up with the 10 of Ryan D. Cook. Off of the corner. Oh, a little bit in the grass on the outside. Couldn't quite hold it, so he decided to open up his own lawn care service while he was at it. He held her wide and it sticked into the grass in this case, but nevertheless, the 8 of Burnett gonna fall back way in the pack. Right now up to the front. Here comes Philip Schmitz moving 5 spots up. Not hard charger territory just yet. He's got a few more to go before he can take down Cook and Kramer. Cook was 6 spots up. Kramer was 7. He started back at 16th, currently in the nice position. Seems to be hanging on though. Coming down through the batch here, right? This is really what you're going to see a lot of is this middle pack here in the back pack, trying to make some decent passes, some decent corners. Because up front, currently just holding it wide open, if you will, and just trying to stay ahead. But we were wondering too with this car, how would it handle with that 670 horsepower package and a track of this caliber and this nature? How would it do and how would it handle? Well, right now we're getting a pretty good idea of it. Sim 500 number 19, Tyler Dalton, continuing to put the pressure on everybody and keep them behind him. Dalton told me earlier today that, yeah, that reign of terror that I keep joking about, that's been on his mind the whole season, was get the most wins and get the most victories. Who cares about the rest? He knows too that gaining these stage points is extremely crucial to his end goal and his end strategy, because what it does for him is it allows him to be able to jump further and further ahead into the rounds without having to really be too successful. Because again, those playoffs, those are a different story. Once you get into them, you best be knowing how to fight, you best be knowing how to drive, because it will be one tough dilemma after another as you get more and more into that grid. I've said my points, my voice of this about the playoffs before, but I will say, in iRacing wise and other leagues, at least they can moderate and make it a little bit more sense, I guess. It would at least make more sense, like kind of fight for and earn it, but I still always personally prefer the old point system that they do, which is just each race has to matter and count. But we'll see. Dalton, again, he has added up his tally points and stage points, so it could end up benefiting him more than anything, having these races mean something down the road, which I will say, they do mean something. because it will help him gather more chances to get through without having to worry about race as hard in the next rounds. Oh, and speaking of race start in the next rounds there, Cameron Dario taking a little slap in the wub there because he's trying to not knock himself out of another round. He's been trying to stay consistent and conservative for the most part ever since he got passed by Jackson, Wild, and Donaldson, but hasn't really been able to kind of stay in the right positions for the longest time. Seems like as of late the car has been kind of getting a little bit more upside and a little bit more substantial on how it turns and burns. Probably wondering, home, what do I mean by turn and burn? Well, you got to think for a second. The more you turn the car, the more tire wear and pressure you put onto it. So that in turn burns the wheel, right? Well, with a track like this, the humidity and everything, this is spring weather. We're in May right now, folks. It is getting hotter out here. That in turn starts to creep up on the drivers a little bit. It starts to get a little bit hard on them. And looking down to the inside, number 12, Aaron X. Jackson's getting a little bit of forward momentum going. Yeah, I just realized something too. Every driver except Tate Taylor in the top 5 is a Ford driver. I don't know what on earth the Fords have found here, but they're dominating today. There's a good chunk of Chevy drivers out here too, but the Fords right now are putting the boots up to them. Russell Ottaway was the only other driver representing for the Toyota team besides Cameron Dario and Dayton Taylor. So only 3 Toyotas, a good half of the others are Fords, the other half the Chevys. And right now this group of Fords here, they seem to be kind of dialed in with a lone Toyota hanging in the middle. Trying to creep his way around the inside line. Hudson putting the USAL 15 into the fight, positioning well off the corner. Keeps the momentum up. You've got your beast on board camera here with the 485 of Taylor as we watch Hudson and Shike still continue to go at it. And notice how they come off that corner turn 4 there. You may have heard that slight little subtle lift off the gas and back in the gas. That tells me, again, with this old track versus the new one, they have to be very, very careful on how they reel through the turns. We always make the joke, think like there's an egg underneath the throttle pedal. Well, we're not kidding there. This is the reason why. Tyler Dalton right now currently keeping Roethlisberger right behind him and looking to keep momentum up. Once more, Roethlisberger, though, has catched him up each corner and each lap for quite a while. He's put a number on him, and he's put his target on his back. And you can see the gaps in the positions here. No change there on lap 25. And it looks like some problems down there. Looks like for Maurice Burnett. Oh! Major damage. Major trouble. No caution is out, though, from the number 8. Rolling up on our competition caution here, but we're going to take a look at the replay here and see what happened to the number 8 of Burnett. 3 wide off the corner. Kind of got high side. Oh, he planed it right into the 10 there, Ryan DeCook. So both Budweisers, unfortunately, getting scrambled in that mess. And Burnett with a lot of damage in that car is not going to get it fixed up in time. I guarantee you that much. Final 2 laps remaining here. Tyler Dalton leads it. Roethlisberger looking for an opening. You can see the back of the back too, having a little fight out. Look at this, Shike getting it up ahead of Hudson. Very optimistical line though. He's going to try to use the outside. Only on this track with that outside line be somewhat of use. He's trying to use it there. Jackson looking on, points on the line though for the top position. Hudson back underneath, looking for one more corner off. Trying to settle it back down through the turn. Hudson gets it back underneath and takes control. Shike looking to draft and looking for the turn. Not quite going to get him there. And off the final 2 corners, Tyler Dalton. Well, he's going to do what he does best. Stage points for the reign of terror. I'm sorry, I actually miscalculated. It's lap 35, not not 30. Sorry there, guys. I don't know why I thought it was lap 30 there. Missed timing on my end. Tyler Dalton still got a few more laps to go, although I really don't think he's going to manage that badly. Hudson, Shike, and Jackson were tied up a little bit earlier. Now Hudson running away. Jackson coming back underneath, side by side to the corners here. As Maurice Burnett looks like he may be completely out of this race here. Randy Cook is back out on the track, just trying to get some laps back after the damage sustained in that wreck off turn number 2 there. Dayton Taylor, Cameron Dario having a little bit of a meeting of the minds. Both guys having a good battle there off those turns in the corners. But it seems though Dario got the better of him that time around. You can see Russell Ottaway kind of hanging around there too. Oh, look out, trouble! Trouble down there in the corner for Aaron Axon Jackson and for Donaldson. Both drivers taking a little bit of a turn, a little bit of a corner off there. No caution still on their end. Taking a look at it right off turn number 2. Donaldson squeezed up there. Jackson kind of pushing his luck and then pushing himself into the wall. And now he goes into pit road trying to get some damage cleaned up. These drivers right now are absolutely losing it. The wear and tear of the cars are currently taking a big toll on them. One more lap to go. Well, can't say Dalton didn't try to push this thing to its limits here. May have took a little bit of a gap or two to get Roethlisberger off his back, but it finally happened. This time around, for sure this time, I promise you, stage number 1 comes to an end. Another stage win and another little piece to the puzzle. Figure it out. Tyler Dalton already looking to try to set himself up for the big season end here. I mean, the man's got 4 wins. He's looking for win number 5 today. Plus the bonus points he's already accumulated. Like, the closest one to him is by 20 points. And that's Scott Simley with 2 wins. Charles Van Schaik's at 10 points right now with 2 wins. Doy Woods, Cameron Dario, Zach Roethlisberger, all with 1 win. They're at 6 points. Ron Holyfield with 5 points. Same with Dayton Taylor and Christoph Hall. And, oh, yeah, they did win a race, by the way. No Samuel Harrell or Bobby Wetzel today, nor Bud Scheer, Keith Prince. We did have Aaron Axon Jackson kind of lingering around down there, and John McMillan Jr. not in this race, nor Cody Sturgill. Both all drivers there with 1 point, though, that I mentioned. So, unfortunately, not a full house tonight. Or today, I should say, here in Texas. Still a beautiful crowd on hand, though, and a lot of hard racers coming out to try to put up their limits and try to put everything they got to the test. Well, Dalton will beat all of them out of pit road. Roethlisberger second in line. Hudson third. Wild fourth. Hickman Jr. fifth. That will be your top 5 drivers coming out of pit road. Field ready to bounce back after our first stage caution. Stage number 2 about to begin. Field ready to get filled up once more. Some hard races still to boot, still some battles left to go. Plenty of time to be had, plenty of things to go down with it. My question right now is, can they handle themselves in terms of length and speed? They have now got to go. For sure they have got about 40 laps to the distance. Lap 80 is going to be their stage break. I've confirmed this. I actually looked and made sure this time. I didn't have my glasses on last time. I made sure this time they were good. So lap number 80. Going to be where they set the tone and set the field off back down to the distance to the green flag restart zone. Stage number 2 begins. Rocking them back and stacking them down right off to the corners into the game zone here. Every driver for themselves. 3 wide off the distance. A little bit of a tight edge there for Ron Holyfield in the 22. Out wide with the 54. Dario right in that mix. Nowhere to go except straight to the line, straight to the sights. John Hickman Jr. in the number 60 right now trying to put the Victrix machine into a nice little spot. Coming back from the grave down to the edges. Even Justin Reynolds, the RBS driver, showing some promise here. Ooh. That may be a little bit of a bumper there to Christoph Hall. Hall nearly got a full end of that one. That slowed him down enough, though, to at least give old Dario a little bit of time to breathe. That time to breathe is now executed well into his plan. You know, I'm already hearing Christoph Hall already clutching the car in on the turns. Listen to this. He comes off turn number 1. Listen to how the car clutches in. Probably wondering at home, okay, why is he clutching in this early? Well, you got to think. You got to go 40 laps to the distance. You got to save fuel, right? Well, the only way to save fuel, you got to clutch that bad boy in and don't let her dig into the fuel. Let her dig the tires in. But don't let the car dig into the fuel any more than you have to. Use it on the straights and then use it in the corners. Very smart template here to be used in a very smart move, in my opinion, for how wild and controllative that is. Tyler Dalton, though, doing his usual thing. Get out to an early spot and then start saving. Everybody else, different ideals. But this is what makes Dalton so dangerous, is that once he gets that front out of the gate, especially on a track like this, he knows already. He does not got to worry about anything. He only knows one thing. Just focus on my drive and let everybody else play their little strategy out. I've already saved up my fuel and I've saved a little bit of tire to be able to take them down a few notches. That's all he needs to know. Interesting to see this. Justin Reynolds not saving fuel. Instead, he's going to the old haymakers, if I like to refer to him as. Just out driving, outpace everybody as quick as possible. Looks like Dario is starting to think the same thing, and actually he's getting the outside line to work a little bit. Pretty impressive up there. Not a lot of drivers are able to get that thing to work up on that high side, but looks like old Texas giving him some room here. New Texas obviously gives only really the bottom lane to use and shoot and scoot with, but it looks like Old Texas living up to its reputation as being at least a track you can use 2 lines on rather than just 1. It's still a very treacherous track, but boy, does it really pop up some battles like this here. Perhaps a big odyssey awaiting for Dario if he can get around a couple for the price of 1. He's found his routes to the number 4 as Zach Roethlisberger, and also had something up there for Don Hickman Jr. Slight little graze in the wall for the 54. It's got to back out and get it right back underway. Wesley Donaldson earlier on there getting a little bit of a clip up on the 12 Aaron Jackson still stuck in pit road. Nothing he can do about it. We're 3 wide there with Reynolds, Gario, and I believe right up ahead of Hudson. Yes, indeed. Reynolds now putting it into overdrive, and he's driving the wheels off this bad boy, the RBS 94. He doesn't really seem to be paying too much attention to fuel or tire run. The only thing he cares about is putting this bad boy up to a good fight. John Hickman Jr. well aware of that, and he's trying to hold on. He'll have a slight advantage on the exits of the turn, but the advantage will definitely go to Reynolds once he gets further ahead. And Reynolds, there you go. No fuel saving, doesn't have to lift off the throttle. He gets it right up to the 19. Now Dalton feels pressure. This is the first time he's been this close to somebody and having to play defense. What is his strategy? Does he keep on the defensive side, or does he let the 94 by him? And just continue to do his own thing. I don't know. Reynolds is a little tricky sometimes. He's played some really good hands before, and he knows how to win with the best of them. Dalton will let him by. Your new leader, the 94, Justin Reynolds, jumping it right on ahead to the barge and on with the charge. It's a pretty impressive passing there for opportunities these drivers are getting here from this track, and I'm pretty surprised, honestly, still. They've been able to maneuver through and really keep up to the pace as much as they have had. But again, still have a long, long route ahead of them. And even then, in that final stage, that could be an equalizer. That could be the thing that really shapes everyone up a bit. We'll certainly have to see. Christoph Hall, the number 94 here. Won a race already this season. Got it back at Talladega Super Speedway, managing to literally take down a set of hungry drivers there. I talked to him earlier about that too, and he said, yeah, I'm glad I got that off my back and I'm in the playoffs, but I mean, I still have to literally get some stage points what I can. There's a heated amount of field of drivers I gotta take down. There's no doubt about it in his mind. Donaldson and Dario right now continuing to keep up the drive, keep up their stance here. Dario right now probably looking at his overall circumstances, overall situation, probably being a little bit more careful and a little bit more on the charge here. Doesn't want to get too out of it. Too out of it, being out of the throttle. But at the same time, if you're not out of that throttle and saving your fuel up, then it becomes even more difficult to control. If I'm these drivers right now, I'm looking at the writing on the wall, which is when and where is my fuel lap window, when and where is my time to strike, when and where is my time to race it out. I think honestly trying to save up to a certain degree is crucial, but it makes things a lot more difficult there. Maurice Burnett looks like he's done and over with. The 8 just came across the line, then back out of pit road, and he seems to be done for the day. That's why we had a little jump cut over there to him there to see what was going on. It looks like he is currently out and not in this one anymore, so it's up right there for the 8 of Burnett. Well, we're on board with Tyler Dalton. I just want to show you guys like why Dalton has been so dangerous here. It's the same thing Reynolds is doing right now, but notice his path. And notice the steering wheel. Notice how he is being extremely selective in where he gets the car to, where he gets the corner off. And then notice how when he gets back on the gas pedal, where he's heading his marks at. He's looking for a very distinctive area and a very distinctive part of the track to lift off the throttle and lift on the brake and to get back onto the gas. Doesn't touch the brakes at all. Rather just looks for the opening where the corner starts to shape his run. We talk about it a lot, but like tracks like Dover, Charlotte Motor Speedway, with those little uphill or downhill little slope ends of the corners of the track, they really set up even the toughest drivers to have to make proper working moves and proper working areas for what it's worth and what they need. And it certainly shows. Firing it back down through the exits and setting into the turns of the corners. And the number 4 with Roethlisberger making a great pass around Old Dario and John Hickman Jr. there. Dakota Kramer right now tries to stay ahead of his maneuvering and also trying to take one down on Dalton. He knows if they get ahead of Dalton, he'll have a chance to possibly be shooting up a few gaps and be shooting up a few chances for the win. Knowing that Reynolds is up there having to fight hard, but unfortunately Roethlisberger not exactly letting him up on him. I said earlier the Fords were dominating in the top 5. Well, Dario was in that mix and that hunt for just a second, then got fought back there. Looks like he may have had a little problem off turn number 2's exit. That's the same exit he had struggled with earlier. That's Charles Van Schaik and John Hickman Jr. now. Start to maneuver through and start to get a little bit more closer in their apex of the run. Oh, hold on, trouble down there. Wesley Donaldson slamming hard into the left side of the wall, and that is all but going to destroy his tire. He's got no left front wheel. It is blocked and it's broken up. He's going to have to try to hubble it to pit road, but the 99, it looks like that might just been his seal of the fate. This car is just so unpredictable sometimes. Not even the drivers in iRacing can predict what will happen with it. We talk about in NASCAR how tough it is just to figure it out. Why all of a sudden something just completely changes or breaks on you. So then you go to iRacing and you see this too. This comes out of complete nowhere. Like you think you're starting to figure out a run, starting to figure out the car, and the next thing you know, boom! Just completely reverts on you. And that's exactly what happened to Wesley Donaldson there, slapping the wall up. Even Dakota Kramer getting a little slap on the wall. Although I will say his is from wear and tear. I don't really see where the issue was for the one of the 99 of Wesley Donaldson. Take a look at our lap times yet again. Dalton, let's just say he's not exactly holding Roethlisberger back here. Roethlisberger just absolutely crushing the gas pedal and moving anything he can up to him. And he has to too. He has got no choice. If he doesn't get it around Dalton, then he's going to have to try to find a way around him in the final stage. And that could be tricky. Again, pit stops will be very crucial on the green flag run if it comes down to it. No caution so far than our competition cautions for the stage cautions here. And Reynolds right now, he's starting to save fuel, so it looks like now he's giving these guys an opportunity to strike. So one thing we're noticing is Reynolds right now slowing up quite a bit. Dalton looking to attack. Again, Reynolds, this is what happens when he gives up that opening. Now he's going to have to try to pay the price. Will he go on defense here? Looked like he was trying to, but Dalton kind of caught him off guard. Reynolds looking to try to deep it down into the corner. He's looking to dig. Used to say on dirt track racing, anytime you get into those corners, you dig as much as you can. Get some track surface and build up a run and build yourself a cushion. With these cars, you can't do that, so what you gotta do is try to dig in and build some rubber up. unfortunately, what Reynolds has not been able to do, and he's not going to be able to do it now. Roethlisberger managing to jump ahead, so is Shike. Double trouble for Reynolds. He'll lose 3 positions. So close yet so far in his mind, but again, you just got to save the fuel and save anything you can. It was a good strategy for what it was worth. However, it did not play out the way he was hoping for. Tyler Dahl and Roethlisberger right now are going head-to-head yet again here. Anybody's battle for that position. Meanwhile, back in the pack, look at this. We've got some Chargers coming through. Alan Wild, the Wild Man, trying to have a little fun while getting his laps back. He's just torching some drivers and torching their tires up. This is what fresh tires will do for you. Kramer having some problems as well down there, and it looks like that 42 is all but done. Couldn't quite catch him in time there, but he is in pit road. Not sure exactly what the damage was. Trying to get the replay up for that, see what we can see, but a lot of smoke down there. I got a feeling it may have happened in turn number 1 there. Producer said they can't get the footage, they don't have anything, so we're just gonna have to go with what we got. Dario there, a little hard off the wall there, turn number 2. It's giving John Hickman Jr. a little bit of run with the Victrix 60. The Ford Mustang driver trying to boulder the momentum. Holds it down tight, looking for more run. Man, these guys absolutely fighting and scratching and clawing every moment, every turn, every corner, every position, just hoping for the best. Reynolds kind of backed into a bit of a drought, a bit of a hard spot to kind of take into Confet. And Christoph Hall, number 44, the Old Spice, looking to get more into the run and more into the drive with Joe Hudson right up ahead of him. Christoph been very clever here, staying in that mid-pack range and staying out of trouble. But you just best know in the back of his mind, he knows he still has some work to do, and more points would certainly be of use for him. Hear the roar of these motors here. They are hurting and they are desperate for some fuel. Dalton and Roethlisberger right now still pushing as far as they can. They're just hoping to kind of keep everything in sight and in mind. Dalton looking just for more and more stage points. All he cares about. Roethlisberger though looking to send a message to him. And he is right on his tail front. He's got it just enough in the rear bumper to make a move, make a pass. Roethlisberger still not able to successfully do it. I just don't know if he's just having a little too much tire wear or he's not shooting the corners up as well as he'd like to. You see how close and how tight he's getting. Perhaps maybe just waiting for the right time to strike. Dalton only about 1/10 of a second ahead. Roethlisberger, though, same strategy as him. Save as much fuel as you can. Hope for what you got out of it. Seems like, though, Roethlisberger's holding that clutch in a little bit longer than Dalton is. I think he's trying to save a little bit extra, trying to set him up for something. Looks like the 15 of Hudson making some desperate attempts here to make some passes as well. Make his way around with Dario now being put a full lap down. Dario had to go into pit road and no choice but to do it. This is where it gets really hard as a driver because now that stage break, you know what's right there and it's in your sight, but you're having a fight with everyone else around you and just trying to do whatever you can just to key in there a little bit longer. It just mentally dilutes and destructs you. So nobody wants to be the second to last person across that line. Nobody wants to be in that second to last place. They want to be literally in the first place spot. So the only way to do it is to continue knocking drivers left and right out of the way by passing them and putting them back into that dirty air, or by just simply just racing ahead of them and staying better on your strategy than they will be. It's a very delicate process that only the best can truly decipher and put together. A mere 2 laps to go. Tyler Dalton right now just pushing the last bit he's got in fuel and run to the line. Roethlisberger though hanging in there. Here we go. One more lap to go. Roethlisberger needs to get a big run on Dalton here if he wants any chance. Will Dalton push his luck? Or will Roethlisberger finally find something? Down to the final 3 corners. And it's going to be Tyler Dalton scratching away another one. Corner 2, corner 3 and 4 to the front straightaway. Corners off to the next check. Stage number 2 belongs to Tyler Dalton. And you can hear a lot of drivers just clutching the fuel in. They are, shall we say, saving the heck out of those things right now. The reign of terror continues. And at this point, unless somebody can find a way to get around him, and then make sure you put him back in their 2 spots and then hide him back there, it may be easier said than done. Well, Dalton right now definitely got his eyes set on the win. Roethlisberger, though, been very careful to let his strategy be well known out there. Out of pit road. A lot of drivers trying to come and go, but it's going to be your usual. Dalton, Roethlisberger, Hudson, Taylor, Hall, Scheidt. There you go, coming around, it looks like. Ron Holyfield just now getting out of pit road. Schmitz and Wild currently trying to get squared up out of that end, on that front as well. Now the fuel saving and tire saving strategies begin to be put to good use and put to absolute maddening work here. So past halfway. Time running out for these drivers and a lot of pressure to be had. Gonna fire him back down. Will the reign of terror continue? And will he finally take another track off the list he's wanted to win at? He's gonna find out here one more time around. Here we go. Final stage commences here in Texmar Speedway. And already you're seeing just how much pressure the drivers are feeling. Bill Schmitz right now currently just trying to stay more towards top 5 territory. He knows that if he can keep up the season like he's had, he might have a chance running into the playoffs end of the brackets. Certainly a lot of work to be done to get there though. Down to the turn. Uh-oh, hold on. Trouble, trouble. Dayton Taylor going for a wild ride on the back straightaway. That is our first caution of the day. And I don't know how much damage he suffered in that wreck, but I guarantee the 45 knows he's in trouble here. Taking a look at it. Came right off turn number 2. Got loose. I don't know if he got touched by Hudson, though. Managed to avoid that big, ugly part of the wall. But still suffering a nasty, nasty hit in the process. See if we can take a look from our chopper cam here. And there he gets loose here. No contact. Yep, no contact there. It was all on him. Left rear looks like it took the worst hit. So I presume he'll be able to continue on. Although definitely more worse for wear, if you will. One more look at it. That's how hard it is to save a car on the track. I think the worst part, though, is just having that feeling of just waiting for everyone else to get around you, though. Just hoping and praying nobody else hits you when they're coming around. I think that's actually more scary than actually getting hit. Than actually getting the wall originally. So coming from pit road. only the 23 and the 50. Okay, so the 15, the 23, the 54, the 11, and the 60. Actually, no, 60 did not go to pit road, so he stayed out. Alan Wild did go to pit road. So, Wild, Holyfield, Dario, Shike going into pit road, and it looks like another set of pit stops for them, so it looks like they're not quite satisfied with the fuel run they were given. Again, they're going to be trying to push their luck a little bit because, again, they got about 70 laps to go, so the less time they have to worry about going into pit road, the better. Definitely becomes a little bit more troublesome, though, as you get along for the ride here. So the field now ready to reel back in and stretch into the fight. A lot of drivers have no idea where they're going to go, what they'll be bringing to next, other than just giving it everything they got. There you go, race fans. Set him back down and reel him back up. Let's go back out of here once more. Green flags out. Let's go back to it. No quit and no give. Just give it everything you got through the corners and hope for the best. That is the way of the race. Christoph Hall now looks like he's got a little bit of an idea of where he wants to go with this one. Just keeping a close eye on Roethlisberger and trying to find a way around Dalton as well. But that fuel run is extremely tight right now, so they're going to have to keep that window a little bit somewhat open, if at all possible. Ryan D. Cook, despite all the problems he suffered earlier at that little collision course to the wall, he's only 2 laps down. Not saying the 10 is necessarily still in this race, but he has a chance. And a chance is better than nothing to get back into that fight, back into that run. Ron Holyfield and Dayton Taylor right behind with the number 22 of Alan Wilder here at the moment. Probably trying to stay out of trouble here as they currently have to maneuver through the 89 of Russell Ottaway. Fair back in the very back of the pack though, the number 12 Aaron Axel Jackson trying to somewhat keep his hopes alive here. But being 5 laps down with as many laps they have left, easier said than done to get your laps back. It's very, very tricky, just to say the least there. Just over 60 laps left to go in this race fans, and so far Tyler Dalton's still keeping everything in his proximity and keeping it right where he wants it to be, which is right in front of him. The Interstate Batteries onboard camera here with Philip Schmitz as he drives skis at Bobby Labonte. You see the name on the side there, Made Famous. The whole Labonte family really made quite an impression on me, and really in general, just for the whole stories they brought to the table. Terry, Bobby, Dale, and all of them, man, I loved watching them way back when. They were always fun to watch, and they still put on a heck of a show on those old Sunday nights. Even looking back at it now through the old proverbial lens, I still enjoy those races very much so. Still a good little back and forth here between Hudson and Hall. Hall tries to outswerve Hudson. Hudson is not giving him an inch, and he's not going to now, especially deep into the inside. Hudson trying to make a statement here. He's had a lot of bad luck on this broadcast too. I'm trying not to jinx him here in this case, but I really feel like that 15 USAL has had a lot of worse for wear luck and problems on his end of the bargain. Changing it here would certainly make a difference and certainly help out his case a bit. But in order to do so, I think he honestly has got to get a win in here. Charles Van Schaik laying right behind him as the 54 Dario. Doing much the same. And you got Dario already with a win this season, same with Charles Van Schaik. But both guys haven't really been to victory lane in a while, so obviously there would be a lot at stake for them, besides the stage points and some bragging rights. But I think honestly, just the overall satisfaction, I think it's really what they're after. I think it's what they really want more than anything. So to see them driving as hard as they are in that position, it really starts to make sense. It really starts to kind of put yourself into their set of their minds on what they're after and what they want to bring to the table. Pushing right off to the left and pride of the limits here. Van Schaik now looks like he's going to have a little bit of a time here at the 15. It's not exactly giving him a lot of room to run away from either. Trying to stabilize the car down and get all the momentum he can off it. Christoph Hall much of the same vein. Dario and Wild now going at it. Wild again, man. Talk about a driver that constantly is in that talk, in that battle. But he still hasn't been able to put it all together and get it to victory lane yet this season. He's been firing it, but he just hasn't been able to put it all together. I think honestly the way it could play out here, maybe might be a different story today. Hard to say. First off, all the Old Spice 44 still stealing and reeling and fighting that USAL 15 of Hudson. Hudson just not giving him an inch. And now Roethlisberger with company. And you know, we're probably wondering, oh, why am I not saying anything about Tyler Dalton right now? Well, the dude's about a second and 6/10 ahead of Roethlisberger and Scheich. So it really doesn't make any sense why I need to bring him up. He's already way ahead of the field. We'll see how my strategy plans out when it comes to the fuel run. Roethlisberger and Scheich seem to be having their own little thoughts on that too. And now it is time to take a look at our best lap time of the day here. Your best lap time is currently presented by Global Strategy Team, and this is how it looks right now. 29.58 is the fastest time. And it was set by two drivers, one of which is Alan Wild, the other, Ron Holyfield. You may have noticed, though, where those drivers are at in location and where they're at in the position right now. Holyfield is in 11th position right now, currently dealing with lap traffic. And then Wild, all of a sudden now, just kind of starting to come alive here and starting to push his luck a little bit. And that is our overall statistics. And speaking of Wild, looks like he wants to get a little wild here. The Wild Man is back in the business, he's back in the show. Big run coming off, got that number 44 Old Spice center down. And Dario pushing it right in. He's trying to get a little hi-ho the Dario on these boys. But I don't think that's going to really rock it around here in Texas. We don't have much for Cowboy. He thinks he has. Oh! And especially getting into Christoph Hall on the 44 off turn 2. Lost 2 positions. Gives one up to Hickman Jr. and Philip Schmitz trying to take it away from him on the outside. Big troublesome turn there for Dario, unfortunately, and it just seems like that's been an entire day so far. Is that troublesome turn 2. Cost him a lot of momentum and a lot of ground each time around. Along the ride right now here, we're currently looking back at our gap time. We saw the best lap times. Now here comes the gap sorted out again. Hall going head to head here with Hickman Jr. Crazy amount of momentum and carry through the turns and through the runs here between all these drivers. Hickman Jr., man, making some serious runs to the turns and doing some great power underneath them. He's a driver that's won on the show before. We know he's a talented driver in his own right. He can really put up the tables and put up the fight. Gotta imagine right now just thinking that too. Probably just thinking overall whether or not he's going to be able to get this race finished out on his terms and his way. Dario right now going on the inside there of Christoph Hall. Hall letting him down. great opportunities there for these drivers to be making some moves. Dayton Taylor, same situation. The 44 not too far back on it. Smith's right now probably just being a little bit more patient. Just trying to look for a more of an opportunistic way to go. Well, gonna talk about Dahl for a second here. He's, like I said, he's got such a huge gap on the rest of the field right now. He's just kind of lingering around wherever he wants to. John Hickman Jr. now finally catching up there to Wild, and he makes his run up. Hickman Jr. and Wild right now, back at it, back and forth affairs. It's been some great battling, honestly, for what Texmore Speedway has been. There's been no giving up and no giving out. It's either you figure it up here later or you lose everything on the spot. That doesn't seem to be in the game plan for them. Reeling them back down now, and then with the battles going on between Hickman Jr. and Wild here, Christoph Hall and Dayton Taylor kind of punching their way back into this fight a little bit. Nearly 3 wide through turn 3 and 4. And Dayton Taylor able to capitalize on Wild's mistake. Same with Hall. They move the chains up further. Hey, look at this now. Dalton losing some ground. Roethlisberger starting to catch him. Again, though, they are not going to have enough fuel to get to the end of this race, so they're all going to have to go into the pit road eventually. But I am curious to see just how truly far they will go. And it looks like pit stops now are up for the line, up to the task. Zach Roethlisberger, the first to blink. Hudson will take over his spot. Hall will join him, so will Schmitz. We're going to focus in on Roethlisberger's pit stop strategy here. This could be a very tight little position here for him and Hall here, as well as Schmitz down there. They've got to get the strategy right. Right side tires going on for the 4. Will he take all 4? Oh, he certainly will. He's going to get all 4 tires down there. Gonna park it down. Tyler Dalton in pit road now too. So his pit stop very crucial. Christoph Hall, Philip Schmitz are out back on the track. Roethlisberger needs to hurry. Tyler Dalton now into his pit stop. Looking to hurry in and hurry out, and he will hurry in and out indeed. He's going back out on the track. Roethlisberger desperately needs to hurry it. Dalton, he took all sides of the tires. He took all the fuel he needed. Roethlisberger's still going to try to save the fuel up though. And Dalton further ahead of the ride. Roethlisberger needs to get some ground back on him. He lost a lot of time. Hudson and Scheiknem staying out for the moment. Time running out though. Just about 30 laps left to go in this race. John Hagman Jr. and Cameron Dario right now look like they will be now put to the test. Which driver can outdo the other? Which one will be able to outpace the other in this case? That's going to be their question they'll have to resolve. So from the pit stops and the strategies used there, it is pretty official and pretty clear. Dalton is in the driver's seat to walk away with this one. And not by any means of just bad strategies from drivers, far from it. They all had their unique strategies and their proper working moves. Unfortunately, it just did not come into fruition. Try as they might, honestly, the Reign of Terror just knows how to out-duke them all. Dayton Taylor and John Hagman Jr. going at it a little bit more. The Beast versus the Victrix. Well, Christoph Hall doesn't stand from the sidelines, rather tries to put themselves into that same position. Last minute powering, last minute eject as they can here. Charles Van Schaik and Philip Schmitz having a little bit of a tussle back there. Seems to have been cleared out though as Schaik gets it right up ahead. .26 laps to go now. Pressure's on. I think for many of these drivers right now, they're just hoping and praying they have enough fuel just to get by, just to be able to stay in this position. Yeah, Roethlisberger, I'll give him credit where credit's due. He had a really good pit strategy idea and pretty good idea of what he wanted to do, but I think he might have been too long in the pits there. Dalton may have outsmarted him just a little bit too much. Got literally a 6-second difference between them and the pit stops there. I'm gonna be honest and curious to know what Roethlisberger's issue was from pit road that ended up costing him here. I mean, really right now, everyone's just kind of pushed themselves to their limits, to their structure, and at this point now, it's kind of turned into more of a kind of a cool and collective little run for the rest of the time being. Not a whole lot of time left, not a whole lot of run really to be successful with here. Really, it's all about just kind of taking shots where you can and looking for your opportunities when you get them. Looks like a last-minute dash, a last-minute run from the 23 of Charles Van Schuyck. He's been known to do this. He's been known to literally lay it out just a little bit, wait till maybe the last couple laps or so, and then all of a sudden just take it to the boys. He did qualify well this time, I will say. He qualified a lot better than he usually does. So I was glad to see him be able to at least be able to put himself up through a time and be able to fight it out with this. Van Schuyck continuing to move his way to the change. Dayton Taylor opened the door up for him and just lets him on by. Probably knew he had nothing really to give out for him, so he just decided just to back off a little bit. Van Schaik right now looking to get one more driver knocked off the list to continue to put the pressure down. Even so smooth. It's so collective. At this point, all he can think about now is just taking control of this race. And by control, I mean by literally getting to the top 3 and ending out on a high note. But again, he still has some work to do here. Speaking on a higher note, Joe Hudson right up on Roethlisberger here with only about 14 laps left to go. Could be a golden opportunity here if he can make it work. Either way, I do know one thing is for sure. Coming up tomorrow night, race fans, here on P10 Racing TV, we will see North Wilkesboro Speedway back in action. As Federal Middle Racing League will bring the truck series down there once again. We've had the big tracks, now we get a little smart track mixed in. How will the drivers fare on a short track? Well, we'll find out when we go down there live tomorrow night. Roethlisberger opened the door up here for Hudson. Got himself an opening. Now Hudson the inside and the 15 looking at a good use of the controls. Again though, without Dalton being as far ahead as he is right now, you'd think for how hard they're running it for the race lead. Well, they may be running a lot harder than that. I think honestly Hudson probably thinking this is like his life's on the line here. He's pushing that bad boy up, and Roethlisberger, if I'm Zach right now, I'm thinking, man, this guy right here just will not leave me alone, not give me an inch. And yeah, he just continues to bite it out. Back and forth, back and forth. Beautiful drag race to the corners. But which one's going to edge the other out? Is Hudson trying to wear and tear him out on that outside? He may be trying to force him to drive a little harder so he can get him, just almost kind of punch himself out. It's almost like an outboxer style. Let him use up all their energy. And then just slash them when the time is right. And there it is. Hudson finally found one, but he knows a crossover could be in reach. Roethlisberger going to set it up. No, he can't. Hudson blocked it. Nice move there by the 15. That was honestly brilliant strategy and brilliant timing there from the 15 of Joe Hudson. With 10 laps remaining in this race. Van Schaik was originally probably trying to hope for a top 3. It looks like he's going to have to sell for a top 5. But I don't think he was expecting it to kind of play out like this. Maybe in the back of his mind he thought maybe it could happen, but I don't know if it was this way or not. Dalton's still 6 seconds ahead no matter how you look at it from Hudson or Roethlisberger's angle. And he is not lifting. He's not giving up. Your top 5 on your screen for these final 10 laps, by the way, as we focus in on the back of the pack drivers here. Dayton Taylor, Cameron Dario, the Monster Energy, and the Beast drivers. Same branch, same style, same design, just all different flavors of the drink. Smith's trying just to get as far as he can along. He's been so consistent this season, I wouldn't be surprised if he did make it in the playoffs just by sheer consistency alone. However, winning it out, I don't know. It'd be a lot of work to do. It'd be a tough call in order, considering what he'd have to face up against. 7 laps left to go. Dalton, just at this point, just trying to put the nail in the coffin. Hickman Jr. and Roethlisberger, though. Whoa, I thought maybe they're going to go at it a little bit, but Hickman Jr. giving himself a little bit of a problem on turn number 2. That's the same corner earlier we saw drivers get a little too close for their own comfort. Despite that little hiccup, Hickman Jr. has got an opening. He's trying to use it on Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger again, leaving too much time on the clock. It left too much time from pit road. The opportunity sets in and sets in motion. You've got to take it. You've got to make those moves. Hickman Jr. well aware of that. But Roethlisberger back at him again. Looking for the inside. Can he get him just enough into the turn? Certainly will be tough to get around to, but it looks like he's going to get it. He got it back underneath. Hickman still dealing with Roethlisberger here. Down 4 laps left to go. Anybody's guess. Who will take the top 3 home? The third position is up for grabs. Hudson is currently still too far away. He's hoping maybe that Dalton somehow, some way gives him a miraculous break. I don't think it's going to happen here. This is some absolutely impressive battle in here between these drivers. Fenchike looking on. Looking for an opening. Looking for another seam. Looking for anything he can get his teeth into. Another drive off. Hickman Jr. getting ahead. Now Shike trying to get back up. 2 laps to remain here in Texas. And all day long, the reign of terror himself just continued doing what he knew how to do best. There is nothing else really you can say about it. Drove to perfection. Hit the strategies perfectly. This is your white flag lap. The 19, Tyler Dalton, looking for another one. Hickman Jr. looks like he's got the 3rd spot locked up. Joe Hudson, give him credit where credit's due. He put up a great fight to get to the 2nd spot. He just ran out of time. Down the final corner to 3. Into 4. Tyler Dalton can secure this one. Win number... Coming to the line, he'll get this one. Win number 5 added to the category. A big high five to be set for that man. He's won at pretty much everything at this point. The big tracks, the little tracks, and the tough tracks. He has absolutely proven he is out for championship gold and glory. It continues to push everything to its limits. The Sim 519 can celebrate in victory lane yet again. What a ride and what a race, Lace fans. Tyler Dalton will take home victory number 5. Joe Hudson gets the 2nd position. John Hickman Jr. going to go 3rd. Charles Van Schaik, another top 5. Zach Roethlisberger, a top 5 for him. Dayton Taylor going to go 6th. Cameron Dario going to go 7th. Alan Weil going to go 8th. 9th to Christoph Hall. 10th to Philip Schmitz. Other finisher, Maurice Burnett, not able to finish out the race. I think Dalton's going to try to do the entire length of the track here. Okay, just the front stretch, it looks like. And there went the motor. Well, you kind of had to figure that was coming. Well, why not? Let's talk with him first, race fans. He blows the motor and puts it out on all fours. Your winner today in Texas, Tyler Dalton, taking home victory. And Tyler, oh my friend, you just simply cannot help yourself to take the reign of terror wherever you go. And now you took it to one of the toughest tracks to master here at Fort Worth. I mean, how hard was it even just to get this thing figured out? And where did the big breaks come for you in this case?
Well, the interesting thing is we were in here at 7500 a couple weeks ago, and honestly, I struggled. It wasn't very good. And I ran a lot of laps in practice, and I figured out a little something in practice. I shared it with my teammates, and it ended up working out for us. We got one, two, three, so I'm ecstatic that we got that. But the second stage had to save fuel. Everybody was saving fuel, so it was trying to just basically see who could be the fastest at going slow. But the first and the last stages were a lot of fun.
Definitely a lot of fun indeed. You said you had a little bit of trouble back with the Sim 500 camp here for the last time you're here. So, really, what did you learn from that to take over to here that was able to finally mark you down into victory lane?
I learned that two tires are as fast as four,
There are two tires the fastest for.
if not faster.
Well, that explains why I got a little bit of a better pit stop than we saw Roethlisberger. So, Dalton, you're going to win this one out today, narrowing everyone down by a good amount of time. Who do you want to thank you for this one, sir?
I think all the 7500 Mafia. It's great for us to get a. I think it's our first 1, 2, 3 finish in the league. So had a bunch of fun. Thanks to all of them and all the admins and staff for putting on the series. Thanks you for broadcasting. I look forward to coming back Tuesday.
Come back Tuesday, indeed. We'll see you next Tuesday around Dalton, though. Congratulations, bringing this one home to victory lane.
Thank you.
Tyler Dalton, ladies and gentlemen. Well, he continues his reign of terror for now. But one driver's going to bring himself a nice little second place position home. Been a while since we've heard from him, but ladies and gentlemen, Joe Hudson's back with us here in the number 15 camp. Joe, once more, sir, you managed to bring this thing down to the line, down to the limit, and put some pressure on the field there, even getting around old Roethlisberger. How's it feeling there late into the race?
Hey man, thank you. Tyler's on such a roll here lately. I feel like that was a win. I'm first in class. Good race, a lot of fun. Tyler's tough.
He's definitely tough indeed, but obviously you got some of your little Maple Moxie to kind of use on him too, and using some strength in your own mindset and your focus here. But Hudson, I gotta ask you, man, you had a lot going on there late in the race. Had to make your way around Roethlisberger. You had to get a little bit further ahead of Hickman Jr. and away from Van Schaik, and from there, I mean. Dalton kind of ran off from you there, but had he had a little bit of time or a little bit of a catch on there, would you may have been able to knock it down a few pegs?
Zach, we were. It cost me a couple of seconds trying to get around him. That let Charles and John and then catch up a little bit, but it's 15, 20, 10 to go, whatever it was there. You got to go. So, but I just want to say a big shout out to all our Sim 500 Mafia, Tyler, John, Brian, Ron Hollefeld. I mean, we all worked really, really well together, and we hit on a couple of things tonight, and it was awesome.
It's awesome indeed to say. Well, nevertheless, as you bring it on home for a solid second place, Joe, who do you want to thank here, sir?
I just thank Charles and all the people at GOAT, Joey at Sim 500. Again, my teammates on the Sim 500 Mafia. A lot of fun. Maybe Tyler will mess up one day or feel sorry for us and give us a chance. So thank you for the broadcast. I always enjoy going back and watching, and we'll try again Tuesday.
Try again Tuesday indeed, Joe. Congratulations, bringing it on home for second place.
Thank you.
Joe Hudson, ladies and gentlemen. Well, he'll settle for a second, but this guy right here, he's going to have to settle for a position he's not usually accustomed to. Third place here for Mr. John Hickman Jr. And John, I say not accustomed usually at third because usually you're one of those guys that's up in that first and second spot. Taking it down to third today, though, I mean, you had a lot of work to do there just to even get to this podium. What was it like there, kind of with the rubber and wear tired up on out there?
It was a pretty exciting race, especially at the end. Yeah, I was every run I was trying to save tires a little bit, and it was interesting racing with some of the other cars that weren't trying to save as much tire as I was. So uh, towards the end of the run, though, it was like I could definitely tell a difference. So that was pretty neat.
Pretty neat indeed. Obviously, I know you had a lot of strategies kind of pinned down here and say where it was kind of going to and see what you could do here. So, nevertheless, though, John, I mean, really for you, where does the strategy, where does the mentality lie after this race? Now, kind of getting closer to the field here.
Um, oh no, I guess we'll just take it one race at a time and see what we can do.
Anybody want to thank her for this one?
I'd like to thank my mom and dad for watching the race, and let's see, Senpai Driver Mafia got a 1, 2, 3 tonight, so that was pretty good. I think that was the first time we've had one since I've been racing with them. And I think Senpai 100 and Goat and you guys at PTM.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, John Hagman Jr. going to take it over third. Congratulations on the podium today, sir.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. John Hagman Jr., ladies and gentlemen. And that'll about really wrap up our show today here, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for tuning on in. It's been a wild, wild day of racing. Tomorrow, it gets even wilder. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to Global Strategy Team and Jack Racing Collectibles for supporting the show. We will see you guys next time when the green flag flies on PTM Racing TV.